As a hush falls across the crowd. Either that or I scared everyone when they realized there's only one more week of, or 2 more classes.
Not gonna lie, it is a little
Daunting?
It is a little daunting.
All right, so as Nick's pointed out, forgive the lesson 8. I'll flip it over now. There we go. A combination of different slide decks. So it is week 11. We've only got a couple weeks left. So we've got this week and 2 more after that, and then we're moving into the final exam. And so see that, guys, you're almost finished your first semester. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, so then you can start all over again in January. Yeah, except with whole new different sets of programming language. Yeah. And the nice thing is, wait for it. No. The nice thing is that the language that you're learning, they teach you how to program. They don't teach you how to untangle wires. Yes. All right. You know what? I'm going to go this way, and then I'll probably hang myself at the end of the day. All right. So the nice thing is the way that what you're learning in this course will be transferable to a lot of other courses that you're doing. So C# is based on the C programming language. So with that said, you're almost there. For those of you who are going, okay, I don't think I am where I need to be, don't panic, because you will get there. What the goal of this course is as an intro course is to provide you some real world programming experience. So if you don't master arrays over the next couple of weeks, that's okay. You're going to be working a lot with arrays. If you don't master if statements, that's all right, because you'll be able to work on them. But as long as you have a fundamental knowledge of what an if statement is, how to kind of get it on paper and whatnot, that's the number one thing that you're going to want to carry forward with. Okay, so don't panic. That's the, well, okay, I'm going to probably steal my own thunder, so I'm going to move on from there. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is on the agenda, we're going to talk about important dates, input validation we're going to be talking about, arrays, and multi-dimensional arrays. We're going to touch on multi-dimensionals. So is that an excited look or a panic look? Oh. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some stuff. And again, what we're doing is we're taking where we are and taking it to the next step. All right. So if you get stuck, I can't stress this enough. I had one student come last week. I am available on Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock, between 7 and 9 in E104. Yeah. So all I ask that you do is don't come with, I don't know what I'm doing. Come with specific questions. I need help with an if statement. I need help understanding arrays. I need help with the decisions and things along those lines. If you've got specific questions, at least I can address them. If you come saying, I missed last class, what did I miss? I'm not going to go over the last. It's not to reteach the last class. It's to help build on what you've got from the previous class. Does that make sense? So E104, 7 till 9 o'clock on Tuesday evenings for the next 2 Tuesdays at least, depending on the turnout. I may extend it to the December 4th. I think it is December 4th Tuesday. The exam is on December 10th. So I would expect if I extend it to the December 4th one, I might have a few more than one person show up on that Tuesday. I would expect. All right, so important dates. Now, this is something that you're going to look and go, wait, what? Because on December 3rd, we've got assignment 2 due, and then we've also got a mini assignment due on the same day. trust me when I say this, by the end of the class, first off, the mini assignment's not going to be a big thing for you. It's worth 5%. All right. The assignment 2, some of you have already finished it. And I think that once you start breaking it down, it's not that big of a project. So I stress that if you've not started it yet, you should start thinking about it. And if you have any questions, at least read the assignment sheet over. And if you can't understand something, ask it this week. Now, when I say this week, maybe come in tomorrow or send me an email, because I've got to be honest, on December 2nd, if you're sending me an email saying, I don't understand, you might be out of luck because you're running out of time that way. And there's no extensions on this one because the following week is the last week. So I can't do anything. So make sure you understand it. And I will try to help you as much as humanly possible, because I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm here to try to help you succeed. All right. And then the final exam's on December 10th. Now, the final exam, I'm toying with 2 things: multiple guess and practical, or just practical. So it's I'm not sure exactly the best way to go, because if I go practical, I'm going to be getting you to debug, as well as, and when I'm saying debugging, and again, don't panic, because if I'm asking you to debug something, it's something where there's an error in my code that I'm providing to you, and it's not going to be something intricate. It's not going to be something where you're going, I've never seen this before. Okay, so it's either one or the other direction. I'm not sure which, and actually, this would be a good opportunity to look to you guys. Which would you prefer, one practical assignment or a practical which is a little bit less and a multiple guess? That one? The second one? Second one? You like both? You like the first one? No, all in eggs and all in one basket kind of guy. Okay. So what about you, this side of the room? You guys never talk in the first thing in the morning. So what would you prefer? Multiple. Okay, but don't forget though, you've got multiple guess and a practical. It's not alleviating the practical.
Practical makes
Yeah.
I'm personally not.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so Nick, you're pretty outspoken about your experience. So why do you feel then that you're not retaining as much? Okay, and I'll get back to you then, Jen.
the thing is, I've done taking this.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. So Shannon, why do you feel they do? Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Did you buy the book? Okay. Okay, well, and that's actually not a bad solution. I'm going to show you something today, actually, that you can try using the code from the book. And because what happens is the code from the book doesn't use a label output. It uses a console.writeline. So I'm going to show you something that we're going to be using actually today that's got the console.writeline. So you can go to that and actually practice some of the things that you're seeing there. So, okay, so are you practicing? Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So, and again, it's going to happen. And as long as you can walk out and go, I get it. Not completely. You're not expected to code the next grade application by the time you walk out of this class. What you're expected to do is have the fundamental knowledge of variables, the fundamental knowledge of your decision loops, or your for loops and whatnot, and your decision trees, and you've got to have a fundamental knowledge of arrays and GitHub. And that's pretty much what you should walk out with, because I almost guarantee this. I believe your next C# class isn't until semester 3. I believe. And next semester, we probably stuff like server-side scripting, so PHP. You've got probably more HTML, like advanced web programming, things along ASP.NET. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't seen your schedule for next semester. But even if it is next semester, don't panic, because the first thing the next instructor is going to do is go, okay, let's review. So, and they're going to go back over it. So it's not like you're starting from a point of no return at the start of next semester. Yeah. 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 So you're using Git desktop? Okay. Interesting. Okay. 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 Now, going on that, because that's a very fair statement. I know we've got some people that are on GitHub desktop. You're using Git a little differently. Some people are using command prompt, which the bottom line is I want you to understand how to do it through the command prompt. But at the end of the day, however you get your files up to GitHub, I don't know. And frankly, if you're dragging and dropping, there's no way of me knowing. At the end of the day, all I want to do is have access to your files from GitHub. So if you're pushing it through the desktop, that's great. There's also something on Visual Studio where you can actually push through GitHub, like push up to GitHub right through Visual Studio. So there's that too. So there's all sorts of different things. And I've said this all semester long, is there's more than one way to solve a problem. So if you can solve the problem dragging and dropping, that's fine. The only thing is, though, you should have a functional knowledge of the command prompt. Because if Rich picks up the next half of this course, he's going to probably push you through the command prompts. So, yeah. Are you available tomorrow evening? So if you want to come in, we can have a look at it. All right, and we'll see. Maybe it's a setting. Maybe it's whatever. We'll try to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we can have a look if you're available. Now over here, RJ, right? Okay. See, I'm learning because I've been calling you Rodden, and I'm told it's RJ though. Okay. Which do you prefer? RJ. Okay. See, there you go. Okay. So you had a problem last week where it was access denied. How did you get through it? And I was going to suggest that because I went, oh no, everything works fine for me. I can't. And this is something that Stephen could probably attest to because he's worked in QA. One of the most frustrating things is, as an end user, is when you have a bug or a problem, and QA gets their fingers on it, they can't duplicate the problem, so they can't fix the problem. So I couldn't do anything. And then I said, oh, yeah, everything works for me. I don't know what to do. And then, so I'm going along, and then the first commit that I did was access denied. So it duplicated, and all I did was close out Visual Studio and go, and it worked fine. So in an exam situation, I'd recommend you do it that way. It's just close it out and then go back in. Okay, so is anyone else having the access denied problem? No, not anymore? Okay, the get through it problem. Okay, well, yeah, I've got a meme of my granddaughter she sits there in front of the keyboard, and she's got this big smile on her face, and she's looking up. She's only like 2 in this picture, and she's got a big smile. She's looking up, and then the next picture, her face is literally, and I didn't plan her this way, and her face is just face down on the keyboard. So I thought, okay, this is a perfect one for that meme. So I made my own. Yeah. Coding is the most frustrating thing that you're probably going to want to do at times, and it's also the most very rewarding thing at times, because there's nothing better than when something works and you go, wow, I created that. But the other one that goes around the internet, you guys have heard the song 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall? Well, it's 99 little bugs in the code, 99 little bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around, 152 bugs in the code. You're going to get that too, where you're going to fix something and it's going to break many other things. So it's just practice. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record on that one, but I've been where you are, and I've been where you are, Nick, well, you know what? I've got life. I've got a job. I run a company. I've got kids. I've got grandkids. I've got my wife is wanting to spend time, et cetera, et cetera. How do I practice? But if you want to be the best you can, you've got to carve out time. Okay. So that all being said, the sermon part's over with. Are there any questions so far about anything that we should be knowing or doing or anything else? Okay, so we know about Tuesday. So if you've got questions that you're not comfortable with in front of a class, certainly bring them Tuesday or send me an email on it. Okay, I'm pretty quick on emails, so I try to get your answers as quickly as possible, because I know there's nothing more frustrating than sitting in front of a keyboard going, I'm waiting. So I try to get that to you quickly. All right. Okay, so assignment number 2. For those of you who are, no, you were working on last week's lab, right? Okay, so on assignment number 2, basically what your job is to create a meal plan. All right, now what you're going to want to do is, you see that we're using combo boxes there. We're going to touch on combo boxes today. So you need to utilize combo boxes. You need to utilize validation, your code validation, etc. And you've got it so that people can pre-order their meals for the day, and it'll work out. And then the next thing is that you're going to have a selected index. You're going to it'll work out. I see it here. Okay, so basically what you want to do is make sure that you select the combo box. It throws an error if it's blank. When I say throw an error, it just has a message box. It's all trying the message box here. Okay, guess what? By the end of this class, you're going to try the message box. Okay, and all that is it's a Windows pop-up that comes up. We're utilizing that today. So it throws an error blank or a validation. Quantity, for example, is 0, or sorry, no, blank or less than 0. And yeah, and now I'm also going to show you that I'm okay with trying to implement that to kind of save some hassle of code breaking. Now, another rule of thumb is, if you set up code and you give it to an end user, I guarantee you that end user, it seems like their personal mission in life is to break your code, because you think, well, of course they're only going to enter in one, like numerical values. Why would they enter something else in? and then they sit down and they'll type in O-N-E, and then your code breaks, or they'll do it maliciously. So, which is all fair and fair and square. So as coders, now we have to be defensive programmers. We have to anticipate those problems, limit the opportunities for them to be able to do these things. So that's part of the assignment. Use loop through the meal plan to determine the costs of the food. So it's not a big assignment. If you break it down, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about loops. We've been talking about if statements. You're going to be needing those. We're going to be talking about combo boxes today. So in theory, by the time you're done today, you should be able to get a large portion of the assignment done. Okay. Now you can implement arrays if you'd like to. I didn't include the arrays on there because I wasn't sure exactly how we would progress when I wrote the assignment. So if you do, that's great. That's going to weigh heavily in your favor. If you don't, that's fine. It's not going to burn you. Okay. All right. Any questions on the assignment? It's got to be uploaded through GitHub. Oh, actually, speaking of the assignment now, a couple people have asked for some practice assignments. Okay, I know there's people asking for extra work, but what they're intended to do is get you coding throughout the weekend. So that way, because I know that when you leave here, you probably got another class today. Yeah. So at the moment that you sit down in front of the other class, you forgot what you did today. So what the intent of the program exercises are is, say I'm posting them on Thursday. You get you sitting in front of the code and going, okay, how do I do this again? Oh yeah, right, okay. And basically just reiterating what we've gone over. Okay, they're going to mirror the exam somewhat. So if I'm just going all practical, it's going to mirror that. So if you look at it, you're going to go, oh, okay, so I'm going to start from scratch and here's what I'm going to develop. Okay, so if you don't physically code it, that's fine, but start familiarizing yourself with that type of question, because that's going to be one of the things that's going to be on the exam. Okay? Yes. GitHub the whole, upload the entire repo. I have to have the SLN file, and I have to have the folder, because if you just send me the SLN, it's going to refer to the folder, which isn't there. If you just send me the folder, I can't open it. Okay, so in that situation, zip it and just say, hey, you know what, Keith, I'm having a hard time. Maybe, next class or whatever, we can sit down and go over what I'm doing, but here's the assignment. So that way, at least you submitted the assignment on time. All right. That's today. Yeah. It's going to be available as of noon. I don't typically pre-post. So you can't see it. Oh, that's actually part of your assignment. You've got that on. It's just a screen capture that I've taken right from the assignment. All right. So that all that's doing is just showing you what's there. But I will make it larger for you. My apologies. Okay. Is that better? Okay, but like I say, don't worry too much about the screen capture. It's just exactly what I've taken from the actual assignment. All right. Okay, so we've talked about the exercises. I would strongly recommend, if you don't do them as we're going along, do them before your exam. They are the best way to study. Okay, just write code. That's people are going to say, well, how do I study? Look at the slide deck, but write. Just code, and that's the best way. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. All right. So recap. So far, we've talked about flowcharts. We haven't forgotten about flowcharts. Don't forget, they are part of your assignment. We've talked about UMLs. They are not part of this assignment. You're welcome. It's just an extra step that I felt. UMLs are pretty straightforward, and they're not as essential as you guys understanding pseudocode, flowcharts, and which, oh, look at that, number 3 is pseudocode, and variables we've talked about. Everyone's comfortable at this stage with the different variables and what they do, etc., and when to implement them. If statements and the loops. And again, I can't stress enough, if you are stuck, I'll see you tomorrow night. If you can't make it because you've got a job, because you've got personal, whatever, that's okay. You're not going to offend me, but reach out to me. Maybe we can set up a time where we can sit down and go over some stuff. Okay? So I'm trying to be there for you guys. All right, so let's get warmed up. Let's open up our Visual Studio and create a form to ask a user the number of bedrooms in their house or apartment and ask their name. Okay, and then on button click display first name, you have blank in your home, meaning the number of rooms in your home. Okay, so let's get going on that. I'll circulate. Yeah. It's on day. One we're going to do is numeric input. Now, walking around and you guys are getting this stuff really quick, so we'll get.
Or we want us to make it a pop-up?
No, nope. It's all we're looking at right now is the entry and the label output, just like we've been doing every week so far. Don't worry about the message box. We'll go get through all that today. Something to the effect of first name, you have whatever in your home. Actually, I'd put rooms as well, because otherwise it's going to be, if you put 4, it'd be just you have 4 in your room. So. How are we making a couple more minutes?
You're good. Look at that. You're already so sorry. You're good. You're not for this. I was going to say. Yeah, no, this is. Well, let's look at what is the name of it? So you're converting a string to a string. You don't have to go through code. And then you parentheses and I'm sorry. Good. All right. For those of you who are good, or those of you who are trying to play along at home, or whatever the case might be, why don't we start going along, and then that way you might see something that goes, oh, I remember that. Okay. So what I've done is I've created the form. If I run it, oh, we're running it. Hold on. I was going to compliment Windows, but I'm going to take my compliment back now, because it's going to say ever since I switched over to the Windows, my Visual Studio runs faster. And well, it gives everyone an opportunity to continue coding. There we go. So I can enter it in. How many bedrooms? 2. Nothing, because I haven't coded anything yet. So going over to the code, what's the first thing that we need to do? Shannon. Okay, so which is going to be our first one? Name? Okay, so what would you suggest for that? Okay, all right, so did I. Now, you see something that you could do a little bit more expediently with that? Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, okay, you need to declare the variable as a string if we're setting up a separate variable, but you don't need to convert to string. And the reason is anything that's in text box is already a string. So if you're going from text box to a string variable, you declare the variable as a string, but you don't have to convert it to string because it's already there. All right.
So all we have to do, and I didn't type it right anyhow, so did I apparently. So that will run perfectly. Now, does everyone understand why I took away the convert to in that one line? Exactly. So anything that's in there is a string. So what we'd be doing is redundant by saying, okay, take this string, convert it to a string to equal the string. So we're just basically saying, okay, so this is equal to that. All right. What did you have, Nick? Okay, so you're doing a label? Okay, so I wouldn't suggest that we would need a label there, but because what you're declaring right now is just a variable name anyhow. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Fred's Drive-In. It doesn't matter because this is just your variable name. All right, so everyone's good so far. What comes next then? Okay. Okay, so all right, so you've said we need to declare it as an integer. All right, so we're going to call it rooms. Now what do we do? Now we convert. But we convert it to what? A string? You're guessing? Okay, that's fine, but when we move forward in this class, you may need it as integers because what we're going to be doing is writing validation. So I want to make sure that it's, hold on, before I jump too far and say, no, you can't do that way. You can do it both ways. I just want to look at the way I like that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, okay, you know what? We can actually create it as a string, so the way that I'm coding it. All right, so we're going to go string. Nick, I apologize for making you change what you'd written. So then txt rooms .text. Okay, so we've taken basically what's been input in the text boxes and we've put them into variables. So what's the last thing that we need to do? Okay, so we're going to put output the variables per instruction, we'll say. And how do we do that? I call mine label output. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Yeah. Because I put down. I'm looking at my solution. I put hello. So okay. So let's do that. So we'll go hello. Yeah. Like a space and a plus, like there. No, it won't give you an error. No. But why are you putting a space after the plus? Okay, so would you put it after the plus, or would you put enclose it in the quotation marks? Okay, well, let's give it a try. Okay, so you're saying hello, and then the space name, and then go like that, right? Oh, that's a pipe. And then your home. So where are we putting the spaces then? Right. Okay, so right in here. Okay. So was I understanding what you were saying? Okay, so if I were to do it like that, you're saying then that there'd be spaces, no problem? Are or are not? Okay. No, you're right. So we have to physically add the spaces in the quotation marks. But now we just completely threw Nick off. So we'll give Nick a chance to catch up. Exactly. Not even one sentence, it's one word. No. Right. So we've got to add the spaces in the quotations. Well, okay. Well, the proper English within the quotations to create your sentence, because those are your words. The variables are just what goes into it. Yeah. So then we go plus, then we go rooms. Then I put down in your home. So I've added a few more lines, but. Oh, okay. Your home has, all right, so I don't need that. I just go to go like that. Yes, okay. Sorry, sometimes you stare at it and you go, what are you saying? Okay, so, all right. Yeah. For this course, it's just really, all I want to do is get people outputting things and things along those lines. So it's just real basic. Okay, so let's run this. And by rights, if, oh, hold on. Ah, see that? The dreaded semicolon.
I love those things.
Wait for PHP. Okay, so please enter your name, Keith. And you have, I have to say 4. Hello, Keith. Your home has 4 bedrooms. Okay, it's saying that because I didn't add a space. All right, we've got the form. Do you guys want to keep working or do you want to take a break? Get some caffeine into you. Caffeine break? Okay, so let's take a bit of a break here, and because this is a good breaking point, and then we're going to come back into talking about validation. Yeah.